Summary of the issue. In an unprecedented move, former President Donald Trump announced the firing of Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook, a Biden appointee. This action is the first time a U.S. president has attempted to remove a sitting Fed governor, sparking a major legal and political crisis. The justification provided by the Trump administration for the firing was that Cook had committed mortgage fraud before she was appointed to her position. Cook immediately challenged this action, filing a lawsuit and vowing not to resign. Her legal team argues that the president's stated reason is a pretext to remove her because of her policy position, specifically her reluctance to support interest rate cuts. This legal battle is centered on the interpretation of the for-cause provision in the Federal Reserve Act, which limits a president's power to remove a governor to cases of inefficiency, neglect of duty, or malfeasance in office. Analysis and reasons. The core of this conflict lies in the long-standing principle of the Federal Reserve's political independence. The Fed is designed to make monetary policy decisions, such as setting interest rates based on economic data and its dual mandate of promoting maximum employment and stable prices, rather than succumbing to political pressure. To safeguard this independence, Fed governors are appointed to staggered 14-year terms, and the law states they can only be removed for cause. The Trump administration's justification for the firing, allegations of mortgage fraud committed before Cook's tenure, is being legally challenged on two main grounds. First, Cook's lawyers argue that for cause applies only to misconduct while in office. Second, they contend that the allegations themselves, which have not resulted in any charges, do not meet the legal standard of malfeasance. This framing suggests that the true motivation is political. President Trump has repeatedly and publicly criticized the Fed for not lowering interest rates, a policy he believes would boost economic growth. By removing Cook, he would create an open seat, which he could then fill with an appointee more aligned with his desire for looser monetary policy. This would give him a potential 4-3 majority on the 7-member governing board. Consequences and predictions. The outcome of this legal battle will have profound consequences for the Federal Reserve and the U.S. economy. If a court, and ultimately the Supreme Court, sides with the Trump administration, it would effectively erode the Fed's independence. This could set a dangerous precedent, allowing future presidents to fire Fed governors based on policy disagreements, as long as they can find a plausible, even if pretextual, cause. The loss of Fed independence could lead to significant economic instability. A central bank perceived as bowing to political pressure might be less credible in its mission to control inflation. If investors and the public believe the Fed will keep interest rates artificially low to serve a political agenda, they may lose confidence in the institution's ability to maintain price stability. This could lead to higher long-term interest rates on everything from mortgages to car loans, as markets would demand a premium to offset the risk of future inflation. Conversely, if the courts rule in favor of Cook, it would reaffirm the for-cause protections and reinforce the constitutional separation of powers, preserving the Fed's independence. Most legal observers predict the case will ultimately be decided by the Supreme Court, as it raises fundamental questions about the balance of power between the executive branch and independent agencies. Solutions. While the immediate solution is a legal one, the courts must adjudicate the lawsuit, the issue also points to the need for a broader understanding and reaffirmation of the Fed's role. For the central bank itself, its leaders must maintain their steadfast commitment to their dual mandate, regardless of political pressure. For Congress, there may be an opportunity to clarify or strengthen the language of the Federal Reserve Act to provide a more explicit definition of for cause, thereby insulating the institution from future political attacks. Additionally, public and political discourse must be centered on the importance of an independent central bank. Educating the public on why this independence is crucial for long-term economic stability could create a bulwark against future attempts to politicize the Fed's work. Ultimately, this is a test of American democratic institutions. The outcome will determine whether a key pillar of economic stability can withstand a direct assault from the nation's highest office. The integrity of the Fed, and by extension the stability of the U.S. economy, hangs in the balance.